Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. My name is Eddie. I've been a student of various spiritual philosophies for over 27 years. I discovered Ramashram Satsang 14 years ago and found it to be a very effective method of inner yoga. It is an important part of my life and it is very enjoyable. If you are new to Satsang, I hope that you will enjoy it as well. Infographic slide, please. This infographic explains important concepts and other relevant information related to Satsang in this workshop. It is intended to make you familiar with essential concepts, structure, and practices. Let's start with the word Satsang. Satsang is how we achieve peace, light, and love. It is composed of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means the positive energy or the positive state. Sang means to be with or in the company of. So the word satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. Next, we have the word meditation. Meditation is an essential core component of satsang. During satsang, music will help us in transition to a peaceful and more calm state of mind while we are infused with light and love. Next is the word inner orientation. Satsang can be divided into two categories, outer satsang and inner satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting. On the contrary, our satsang is an inner satsang, where we meditate silently. Next, group meditation. Group meditation is important, and compared to solo sessions, it can improve your meditation experience. Therefore, these workshops are an opportune time to engage in group meditation. Next slide. Oh no, you can go to, yeah, go to the next slide. Today's workshop is divided into three sessions: the information session, the practice session, and the interactive session. The first session, the information session. Students are introduced to satsang, the founder, or some main topic. The second session is the practice session. In this session, students will learn how to meditate before practicing meditation. And in the last session, the interactive session, will consist of a question and answer period or a panel discussion. Next slide, please. There are four, during this satsang, this weekend workshop, there are four major themes that we will focus on: inner peace, yoga philosophy and satsang, personal progress through satsang, manifesting transcendental energy, and so forth. Now, this satsang workshop is designed to teach you how to achieve peace, light, and love in your life to make it more joyful and content and positively impact your behavior. Guru Maharaj, founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura, created a new, simplified yoga method called satsang so that everyone could achieve a life full of peace, light, and love. We will practice it today. Sanjeev Kumar will facilitate that. But first, let me briefly introduce you to our session facilitator, who has practiced yoga for over 40 years and is Guru Maharaj's grandson. Raised in India into a satsang family where many members use the satsang method mentioned above, he has personally witnessed their transformation into enlightened beings, leading lives filled with peace, love, and light. Upon arriving in the United States and driven by his charitable mission to spread satsang globally, he and his wife conducted satsang for satsangees. Later, around 2005, he started using online satsang. During this recent pandemic, online satsang brought people together from many regions, including those in the remote villages of India. From the comfort of their own homes, participants charged their dwellings with positive energy every morning and evening while enjoying satsang. Generally speaking, he is an excellent choice to be our session facilitator today because he is committed to introducing satsang to anyone willing to learn, regardless of religious beliefs, race, and caste. Presently, he travels throughout the United States and India, facilitating satsang sessions while carrying out his duties as a husband, father, and IT executive. So now, let me welcome Brother Sanjeev Kumar to tell us more about satsang and the practice established by Guru Maharaj.
So welcome welcome back, everyone. So let's today we are talking about inner peace, and I was just reading. Dalai Lama said that do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. The question then becomes like, how do we achieve that? Uh, you know, um, and I think we need to look at, what peace is and how to achieve that. And basically, satsang and meditation definitely move us towards that. Um, so, peace of mind or inner calm. Um, so, if we just look at the definition of peace, inner calm and inner state of tranquility. And when you get peace, you're at ease within yourself, a sense of self-compassion, unruffled by day-to-day worries, prepared to welcome whatever life tosses at you. Um, but one thing I was uh, reading and what Guru Maharaj has emphasized, peace is not just inner calm. It's also, a sense of completeness, a sense of presence, uh, you know, um, of something else, and that's what we seek when we are in satsang or meditation. So, um, so that's another aspect. Um, so, and we all know intrinsically, or we find like when we don't have peace, um, what happens is that anxiety, worry, and a lot of other such things. So worry, Guru Maharaj described as like you have uh, some thought, but it kind of just takes over, and it just repeats and repeats and repeats, and that worry, for example, could cause sleep disturbances, aches and pains, fatigue and low energy, stomach issues, anger issues, difficulty in concentration, affects our relationships and things like that. But interestingly, one of the things is like peace is related to our thoughts in a way, and thoughts are related to our emotions. So negative emotions cause negative thoughts and vice versa. So, and if you take one more step, our desires also cause, upheaval in emotions, then upheaval in thoughts, and hence, the state of peace is disturbed. Now, one key word here is inner. And so, peace is inside, look inwards for that. You have to control our thought processes. And, it's like with the barrage of thoughts running through the mind, it's hard to see what mind is really capable of because, as it says, allow the dust to settle to see some clear waters. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about here was, life is unpredictable. Time and time again, challenges will surface, causing, uh, complicates our daily routine, leaves us anxious and drained, and even, fear comes in. So, there might be a job situation, health of somebody close, and all these things, when they take over, the problem is that if we fixate on these things, that would disturb our peace. So, ignoring these things is also not going to help because suppressed emotions can intensify and leave us with far less calm down the road. So, there is a concept of acceptance. On the other hand, that can make a difference. Research shows that accepting your own thoughts and emotions is can be an effective strategy. So, uh, this is like reframing. And what I find is that meditation helps us in acceptance and even forgiveness. Um, if you are feeling hurt, uh, angry, or someone wrongs you or treats you unfairly, all these things start, troubling us, and that causes that whole upheaval that we were talking about. What we find is that there is a lot of research that says acceptance and forgiveness actually helps. So, and what um, really helps is the meditation that we will practice. It helps in, both acceptance and forgiveness, provides us that uh, inner strength. um, so if we really look at, how to be peaceful, basically meditate. And, in this meditation, you start looking inwards. So inner orientation, meditation, that helps in controlling the barrage of thoughts, reduces stress and anxiety, and eventually also controls desires and emotions, and hence you improve inner happiness and joy. So um, inner happiness, I think I also want to emphasize is like there is happiness that we find in a lot of material things, but the real happiness is inside, the real joy is inside. So when we tie these two things to things outside, when the outside world changes, our state also changes. So what we need to figure out is how we keep this inner happiness, which doesn't get affected by the outer events. And that is another thing that you can achieve through increasing this feeling of joy and inner happiness through meditation. So just wanted to kind of, um, walk through this because a lot of times we just get caught in the vicious cycle and forget that one, what we're looking for outside is actually within. So happiness, peace, um, you know, when we look inwards, when we seek within ourselves, um, we actually gain inner strength, gain inner peace, and inner happiness. And after the session, we can talk through if there are any questions around those concepts. The last session, we had a pretty good discussion on some of it. So, um, so I'll basically leave some time for the questions after the meditation. Let's basically get down to our practice. How do we see? We can talk about inner peace, we can hear about inner peace, we can read about it, but this is something that we need to find within and experience it. So let's practice. This practice was established a century ago by my grandfather. I was born into a satsang family, as Eddie was talking about. Very fortunate, and in the last session, I was talking about it. One of the reasons why I feel that this is to be shared is because I found some people, and that's another thing we can talk about, like why we all are not finding lasting peace. So I found some people who actually achieved through satsang a state where, one thing we were talking about, if the ups and downs of life don't affect your internal peace, that would be amazing. And just finding that, yes, there is a method, there is an approach which can take you there. So because I find that there are very, very, very few people who actually learn to have a consistent and level of inner happiness and inner peace. So that just drives me to say, okay, uh, maybe just share with others and see if some folks find it to pursue the path, which could lead to, and there are plenty of those ways in which you can achieve that. Uh, this one, Guru Maharaj, my grandfather would say, is one of the simpler ones, and simple probably is a relative term. What he says is that give about half hour to an hour to yourself. Develop a practice. Uh, be, in the presence of this transcendental energy, which uplifts you, recharges you, and once you start doing that, that would start transforming, the rest of your day, rest of your days and months, and that becomes your second nature, pretty much. So that's what we will practice. So let me give you some basic. So we will transition in to meditation through music, and some discussion before and after kind of also helps our concentration, because we have been doing things and thinking about things, and going into meditation, and especially this one, which is done in silence and is deeper meditation. So it is very important that we transition into it and ease into it and give some time to transition into a deeper meditation. So once I tell you how to meditate, we'll have a few minutes of music, and that helps us. And then about 15-20 minutes of meditation in silence, then we transition out with music again. Now, what is important here is to focus. Uh, we need to make sure that the mind doesn't get distracted. And one of the things that distracts our mind is when our body moves. So we have to minimize the bodily movement. So typically, what you have to do is sit in a relaxed posture, any relaxed posture, so that body doesn't move too much. Because body moves, your mind moves with it. Another thing is eyes lightly closed, because sensory input also distracts your mind. So two basic things: relaxed posture, so the body doesn't move too much, eyes lightly closed, and if you can, then try to keep spine straight and chin a little inwards for better posture, but that's now optional. Used to be is strictly enforced before. Now we have all have a lot of people have back issues these days. So now relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed, and now think of this transcendental light in front of you entering your heart and distributing throughout your body. So you are getting completely immersed in this uplifting, positive energy in form of light. So this light is in front of you, entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. Now, as it is natural, your mind will move with it. So you have to bring it back. So if your mind, as soon as you realize that your mind has wandered away somewhere, just bring it back. Bring it back to this thought that light is in front of you, entering your heart and distributing throughout your body, and you are getting completely immersed in this light. We'll do so, as I said, music, deeper meditation in silence, and then a few minutes of music again. So let's start now. Okay. So, Eddie, any thoughts on peace?
Yeah, I'd like to review those points again, and then I'd like to talk a little bit about how we can obtain peace in its relation to the soul. So the first thing you said was sort of that peace, and summing up here, peace is sort of the cessation of disturbing thoughts. And when we achieve peace, a perfect peace, we're calm in the face of agitation and taunts. When we are without peace, those disturbing thoughts are still present, and we suffer mental and emotional maladies as a result of that. Our relationship uh, between peace and inner satsang is that inner satsang destroys or removes those disturbing thoughts. This sort of the ripples, the waves that we attach ourselves to that cause us to be unhappy. Those are removed, and sort of have a very calm state of mind, sort of like with little emotion, sort of like a palm that has no waves, just sort of like a mirror finish. And then the issue of happiness in the rest state. You had mentioned that when we're not meditating, a sort of a rest state, a quiescent state that we're in, is that level of happiness that we experience in that state is an indication of the amount of joy that we have in us. Now, as we practice meditation, that level of happiness begins to grow and becomes, I guess, inner happiness, which eventually leads to maybe even is synonymous with joy. And lastly is, how do we obtain peace? Um, we have to we have to withdraw our senses uh, and turn them within and search for peace within. And by practicing satsang, that allows us to do that. So I just want to sort of talk about that a little bit more. When we're in our perfect state before we sort of have this fall into the world, we were in a state of moderation, in a state of peace. We didn't have those ripples that these disturbing thoughts bring on. When we came into this world, we were sort of tempted by desire, and our soul was sort of pulled into this worldly environment. Now, these thoughts we began to take on, or the thoughts are beginning to take control of us. And so, unfortunately, these thoughts are waves, right? And if you think about a wave, Santi, you had mentioned that a roller coaster, life is sort of, in some cases, like a roller coaster, and that brings no peace. Because a roller coaster is sort of like a wave, right? And so, our mental thoughts, if we were to sum it up, are like that. So when you're in that kind of environment where you're constantly undulating, going up and up and down, and there's no moderation, it's not even keel, come sick, right? And there's no peace in that. And so in order for us to achieve success at peace, we have to withdraw from the external world. We have to withdraw our senses from the external world because you can't find it out there, right? We have to turn within, and we have to look for the true source of peace. And we're able to do that and follow that path when we practice satsang.
Awesome. So before we go further, so Candice, uh, that was your first session, I guess.
Yes, it's my first session.
So how did it go? Any questions? Any thoughts, comments?
Very good, thank you. No questions or comments at this time.
Good, good. So have you tried meditation before?
Yes.
Good, good. And yeah, so welcome on board. Thank you for being here. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And Rena, so how did the session go?
Hello. Yeah, it was good. To be honest, if I'm being honest, I struggled a little bit. But yeah, I think the music definitely helped. It was quite calming.
Yeah, so
it
what we did was the traditional prayers we kind of converted into flute music. I'm
yeah.
working on a slightly better version that's still in the works. But yeah, music definitely helps. I think what is potentially better is that if we are chanting or singing something ourselves, then so I think maybe we'll have to work towards that too, because that in when you engage in something like that, mind gets concentrated even more.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Would you so we would all chant this together when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
yeah, I think that yeah, that would be a really good idea as well. Um, yeah, that's my input for now. The music was very good. I found it quite relaxing. But yeah, I struggled a bit to I had a lot of thoughts.
Yeah,
So
it's this whole set of discussions and music and all that is to like kind of transition you in,
yeah.
but mind is just has been almost like has gotten so tuned towards just running these thoughts. So um, as we were discussing earlier, just let it run and observe and it'll- it might take a little bit, but it'll get in, you know, um, it'll
Yeah,
get better. It'll,
yes.
it will get
Thank
better.
thank you.
So, Shivangi, any questions or Suchi?
Namaste Bhaiya ji. Namaste everyone. Um, I think on the last Tuesday session or sometime before, you were discussing even at the top levels of the pyramid, there are stages. You were discussing about so like in today's discussion, we've talked about how peace and happiness is not external, it's internal. And but at the same time, our satsang says that we can stay in the world and be in our families and do our jobs and still practice satsang. So you're obviously going to be affected by the world and like what's happening with your job and what's happening with your family. So is it like at the higher stages, are they like completely unaffected? Things that happen like in the physical, like external world, like in their families and their jobs and other struggles. So you say that it's like your reaction to it changes when you're at a higher level, but something bad happens, like you still will have a reaction, right? Like, so is that, how does that work?
Uh, Actually, the answer is yes. At higher levels on the pyramid, and Yuan, if you can bring the pyramid for a little bit. Um, um, yeah. So again, the lower one is the realm of the world. So when you go above the, you know, you vertically progress. What happens is, see, I call this. I mean, a, I think I couldn't find a better term like 5 steps to nirvana, and but that's just a buzzword. What I call this map of internal states, right? So map of internal states, so realm of the world you are so caught up in yourself. It's like me. Eat, drink, and be merry. Security and survival is my focus. And self love, and everything is self-centered, right? You go a little higher, now you are broadening your horizon a little bit. You go to the realm of the mind, now you are trying to control your mind. And then as you go further higher, now, so why map of internal states? So what happens is that how I react to the world depends not on what is happening in the world. It's more on how I react inside. What happens? So if something happens, you know, and you can see, like, people who are, we call, more mature, they react differently, right? Is their brain wired differently? Probably. But see, what is important is the inner state. The person who we call more mature has reacted to the same thing that we are reacting one way, they are reacting another way. So just to understand how people react differently, I have put this, five realms. And as you go higher on this, your reaction is far more mature, right? So if at the top, I mean, and you can say nirvana is a big buzzword, but let's just say for all humans, I mean, we're trying to be wiser, right? So when you are more and more and more wise, what does that mean? You become aware of things within, you become self-aware, right? And you become knowledgeable of what I should or should not do. And all those things then get at a more wiser state, I would react to lots of things very differently, right? It's the quote that I was talking about, it's like Dalai Lama is saying, do not let the behavior of others, that is like how they behave, destroy your inner peace, right? And there was another quote where, uh, you know, eh, they're saying that what other person does is not in your control. Or, I mean, there is some influence you can have, but right. But what is in your control is how you react to it, right? And this pyramid basically defines that, yes, at different level of yourself, you will react differently. And one of the ways you can ascend this pyramid is through satsang and meditation. Because, I mean, people say, okay, count to 10 before you react, right? I mean, actually, it's real, right? So count to 10. Now, why count to 10, right? Because when you react immediately, there is the frontal lobe that is engaged, and one part of your brain is reacting. When you count to 10, there is another part of your brain which is engaged, right? So just count to 10. Now, we were talking in the prior session that you take a walk, you sleep over it. I mean, research has proved that once you do take some time, brain and your inner wiring of your brain gets time to analyze the situation better. When you react immediately, it's a completely different mechanism than when you have taken a little bit of time, right? They say, like, write an email when you are angry, don't send it the next morning. And I'm telling you, you will be so much better off, right? Yes, safety and survival, and there are times when you have to react, But most of the time, we are not in a fight and flight situations that we sometimes perceive. You take some, now meditation pretty much makes that your second nature. So your reactions are far different, if you just do that immediately versus, so just that taking a step back, letting go, and all that would come so much easier for you when you meditate, and if you don't. So it's not that we don't have to understand the situations. It's not that you have to ignore the situation. It's not that you don't have to react to it. It just you have been given a brain, and you also can mature the way it processes things, right? I mean, uh, I'll tell you, like one of my mentors in satsang, um, obviously Guru Maharaj's disciple, so I was, and this is like 30 years ago, maybe more, probably more. And, so I was, young and caught up in some things, and I was struggling, like what is right and what is wrong, right? And I asked him that, so how do I decide what is right and what is wrong? And what is right and what is wrong, basically, was the question, right? So he thought a little bit and then said, look at this coin. And showed me the coin, and it's heads and tails, right? So if heads was right, so if you're looking at the heads, right, you're not looking at the the other side of the coin. Somebody else is looking at the tails and saying, so the right and wrong is basically, according to him, it was like, look at the whole coin. One is looking at one side and one perspective, and that is why they're right and are wrong, or they're wrong and are right is not aligned. But if you start looking at the whole coin, your perspective changes completely, right? So how do you start, instead of just looking at the heads or just looking at the tails, when do you start looking at the whole coin? Right? So right and wrong, actually, that reminds me, there is another quote by Rumi, who was this, mystic poet, that away from the right doing and wrong doing, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. Right? So what he is saying is that, yes, we are caught up in this, but then there is something beyond that, and I'll meet you there. Right? And then I think further he says, when I lie in that field, the world is just, I am too full to talk about the world. Right? So imagine that. If you were in that field, right, where world is just, something, see, it's like, you sometimes, the example could be that kids are fighting for like small things, right? You look at them, it's like, what, are they stupid? I don't, I mean, with all respect, right? But what are we doing, right? When we go higher, our perspective changes. Why were we looking at this way? Why was I so caught up in this? In the bigger scheme of things, how much does that mean? Right? So when you lie in that field, this is, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field, and I'll meet you there.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you.
All right. So any wrap-up thoughts, Eddie? Rena, Candice, Rajat, Onkar?
I was just thinking. Yeah, I was thinking that many of us had been given some sage advice from probably a boatload of our friends, and we never considered it to be sage at the time. But often we've heard our friends tell us in times of strife um, to don't let things get to you, just let it roll off of your back. So this is the lesson that we learned today, and more, and very well described, explained by you. Nonetheless, it does apply to maintaining that internal peace within ourselves.
Perfect. So thank you so much for being here. I don't know, suddenly, I think I've spoken too much today. It's time to reflect back. All right. So glad that we were here. Really enjoyed the session. Looking forward to see you again. Rena, Candice, Eddie, Warren, Shivangi. So, namaskar. Have a good week ahead, and see you soon.
Namaste भैया. Bye
Namaskar.
everyone.
Thank you, Sam.
Namaste, Bhaiya
Have a
ji.
good day,
Everyone.
Take care. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye, Rena. Bye, Candice.
Uncle.
Namaskar, Suchi. Rajat, Meenakshi, Vik.
Namaskar, Bhaiya. Bye bye, everyone.
Ram Chacha. Bye everyone.
Namaskar.
Namaste भैया.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.